Fox Sports.
We are Fox Sports. We are Arizona.
They turned on the fountain today in downtown Chicago. The D-backs settling in here on the south side and looking to put last night's game behind them. It was a buffet of White Sox offense. And today they'll be getting a look at Wade Miley. And with names like Goldschmidt, Montero, Abreu, Konerko, and others, we could see some more fireworks here tonight on a Saturday in Chicago. Good evening from U.S. Cellular Field. It's Steve Berthune, Bob Brenly along the way. The D-backs and the White Sox, second of a three-game weekend series. Valley native Paul Konerko in the lineup tonight for Chicago, and that means he'll get a look head-to-head at the man who might be his generation's Paul Konerko, Bob, and that's Paul Goldschmidt.
Well, there's certainly a lot of comparisons between these two guys. You look at the numbers through the first 3 full seasons in the major league. Paul Goldschmidt actually has done better than Paul Konerko at that stage of his career. Now we just need Goldie to do it for 15 more seasons the way Paul Konerko has. He's been an exemplary player throughout his career, and Paul Goldschmidt would be well served to follow his lead.
This is not their first meeting, as Paul Konerko told us earlier. They have met before.
He's come up to the house in Scottsdale and hit a couple times, and J.J. Putz introduced me to him a couple off seasons ago, and just a great human being. I mean, he can hit and does everything right on the field. He's the kind of guy, you know, he has a lot of talent, and he's doing really well.
Well, there'll be a lot of big home run hitters in this ball game tonight. None bigger than the White Sox, Jose Abreu, leading the majors in homers. He's second in the big leagues in RBIs. Bob, how do you get this guy out?
I don't know. I feel the same way American League pitchers do. You see, he sprays his home runs all over the ballpark. 7 to straightaway center, 2 to right, 4 to left. It's tough to pitch a power hitter that has enough power to go out to straightaway center field, and we saw it from Abreu against Trevor Cahill last night.
This should be a lot of fun. Some big bats in the lineup. Hopefully Addison Reed will be in position to get a save here back on the south side. The former White Sox is back in the Windy City. Now the Diamondbacks closer. We'll hear from Addison Reed when we come back. Diamondbacks and White Sox. First pitch coming up here on Fox Sports Arizona. Arizona is brought to you in part by CenturyLink, your link to what's next. And by Jack in the Box. If the D-backs hit a home run today, score a free Jumbo Jack tomorrow with a purchase of a large drink.
And welcome back. Wade Miley set to take the hill. He's there with Miguel Montero, ready to start game 2 of this 3-game series and the final series of this road trip. Diamondbacks have won the first 2, and despite the loss last night, hope to get back on the winning track tonight. Addison Reed hopes to get in the game in a save situation. Now, sometimes when players get traded from one team to another, like Addison did from the White Sox here to the Diamondbacks in the offseason, especially from the American League to the National League, it might take them a long time to see their former team. But the Diamondbacks visiting U.S. Cellular Field for the first time since 2005, it didn't take Addison long to be a visitor here.
Good to see him again, and I saw him all in February in spring training, so it's only been a couple months, but it's still good to see him. It's different walking in the tunnel, going to the visiting clubhouse instead of the home clubhouse, but yeah, it's good. It's good to be back.
And you see the numbers for Addison Reed during his 2 seasons with the Chicago White Sox, taking over the closer's job in May of 2012, recording 69 saves and 40 of them last year. Addison Reed currently with 10 saves right now for the Arizona Diamondbacks. Well, we've got a great matchup here in game 2 between the White Sox and the Arizona Diamondbacks. Wade Miley, and no decision last time out, but he looks to be able to slow down this high-powered White Sox offense. First pitch comes your way. Steve Berthium and Bob Brenly have it next.
Field in Chicago, and the White Sox tonight without Robin Ventura. He is away in Stillwater, Oklahoma, where he played college baseball and played it pretty well, by the way. He is busy attending his daughter Rachel's graduation from Oklahoma State, and so Mark Parent, the bench coach, will manage the White Sox today against the Diamondbacks.
3 years of minor league experience, 2 at the Class A level, 1 at Double A, 2 first-place finishes, 1 second-place finish for Mark Parent.
And the White Sox, he's getting the ball club at a good time. They've won 5 of 6. They are 4.5 games behind Detroit for the AL Central lead. The Tigers beat the Twins this afternoon, 9-3. And as the D-backs found out last night, they are crushing the ball right now. Tonight, the White Sox have a chance to put up at least 10 hits for the 5th straight game. Haven't done that in almost 2 years. And as you can see on this Mother's Day weekend in Chicago, a lot of moms on the field, and the pink is out all over U.S. Cellular Field.
Got to say the pink clashes a little bit with the Sedona red, but for the moms, we'll put up with it for a night.
Good to see Major League Baseball and all the fans supporting the effort to raise awareness and research for money for research for breast cancer. And Jose Quintana is our Arizona Ford starting pitcher for the Chicago White Sox. He is out there, 25-year-old left-hander from Colombia. He has been, well, quietly very effective now in his third season in Chicago.
Yeah, make up your mind. 17 no decisions last year. Pitched well enough to win a number of those 17 starts. In those 17 no decisions, he pitched to a 3.55 ERA and got 3.55 runs of support. So I guess it figures they should have been no decisions. But he features a cutter, a tailing fastball, a curveball, and a straight changeup that we're told is an underutilized weapon for him. We'll look to see if he throws more of those changeups tonight.
And he was superb his last time out, which was Monday at Wrigley Field against the Cubs. 7 innings, allowed only 1 hit. And with the left-hander on the mound, this is the lineup for Kirk Gibson.
A.J. Pollock at the top against the lefty. Martin Prado hitting second. Paul Goldschmidt in his customary 3 spot, followed by Miguel Montero, Aaron Hill, and Cody Ross. Last season beat up on lefties. Couple hits in the ball game last night. Gerardo Parra out right field. Alfredo Marte serving as the designated hitter tonight, and Chris Owings at shortstop.
Diamondbacks here for just the second time ever. The D-backs visited U.S. Cellular Field in June of 2005 and won 2 of 3 here. And Kirk Gibson's ball club still has a chance to do that after dropping the series opener last night. And if they can win the final 2 here, they will make it 3 for 3 in terms of series wins on this road trip. All right, let's take a look now at our mid-first bank defense for the White Sox behind their left-hander.
Same outfield that we saw last night. Diane Viciedo in left, Alejandro De Aza in center, and Moises Sierra over in right field. Marcus Semien playing third base tonight. Alexi Ramirez at short. Gordon Beckham at second. Paul Konerko over at first base tonight. Tyler Flowers will be doing the catching for left-hander Jose Quintana.
And we are set to go as A.J. Pollock steps in against Jose Quintana on a breezy night on the south side in Chicago. There's a strike, 0-1. A.J. 257 and 3 homers. Quintana is quickly ahead, 0-2. A little bit of a shadow situation out there in left and left center right now.
The bright sunlight on the batter's eye in center field, that can be distracting to the hitters when they're standing in the shadows, as well as the pitcher in the shadows.
A 6:10 local start. And A.J. in the leadoff spot against the left-hand pitcher today. But A.J. hasn't seen a ton of lefties so far this year, only 30 plate appearances. He's hitting under 180 against left-handers. Another 0-2. And Quintana is not a pitcher against whom you bury your left-hand hitters in the lineup. This season, right-hand hitters hitting just over 240 against him. Lefties are batting 364. So lefties do pretty well against this guy.
Generally, when you see those kinds of splits, it means the guy features some kind of a good off-speed pitch. Generally a straight changeup, sometimes a slow curveball to battle those right-handed hitters.
Those numbers you just saw follow a trend that Quintana has shown for his career. Left-hand hitters have done better against him than right-handers, which is backwards. This is what he has. A ball and 2 strikes to A.J. Pollock. It's even 2-2. A.J. an RBI single and a stolen base last night. He's hit in 3 straight.
About to say, this is the kind of at bat you like to see from your leadoff hitter. See as many pitches as possible, then take that scouting report right back to your bench after circling the bases.
So pitch number 9 coming up. That's 4 two-strike fouls by AJ, and that's a tremendous at bat. There are the numbers you talked about for AJ against left-hand pitchers. Under 180. In his center, Alejandro Diaz looking for it up there. He's got it. 1 away.
Well, the at-bat ends with a fly ball to center field, but as I mentioned, hopefully A.J. Pollock will be able to glean something from that at-bat, use it to his advantage in later at-bats in this game, and give his teammates a little bit of a preview of what they're about to see.
And if you're going to make an out, that's about as good a leadoff at-bat as you can have. Martin Prado. It's 7th last night. He's back up in the 2-hole tonight. Looks at a strike, 0-1. Prado now at 236 on the year, 0 for 4 last night with a pair of strikeouts. And just like against Pollock, Quintana quickly ahead 0-2.
Quickly is the imperative word right there. I'm telling you, this guy is a lot like Wade Miley. Gets the ball back from Tyler Flowers. He's right back up on that rubber, ready to go.
Mentioned how well Quintana pitched his last time out. That was Monday at Wrigley Field against the Cubs. 7 innings of 1 hit ball. Had 3 walks and 3 strikeouts. That's a tough no decision. It turned out to be a 3-1 White Sox win. They won it with 2 in the 12th. It was long gone by then. 2-2. Hard to left, a base hit for Prado.
How big would it be for the Diamondbacks to get Martin Prado rolling the way we know he can? Very streaky hitter. If he could get into a good streak, along with Goldie and Miguel Montero, Aaron Hill all swinging the bat well right now.
He's had a tough trip, 4 for 30 on the road trip coming in, but 1 for 1 tonight. And he's aboard at first with 1 out for Paul Goldschmidt. Goldie first pitch swinging. 335, 7 homers. Strike 2.
Too bad Ozzie Guillen is still not here managing the White Sox. He had a real hate-hate relationship with Phil Cuzzi, the home plate umpire tonight.
It was a long list. Whew. Is there a particular incident that stands out?
I don't know what the advent of it was, but boy, every time Cuzzi worked the plate, it seemed like Ozzie either got ejected or was involved in several arguments over the course of the ball game, and I think the feeling was mutual on the part of Mr. Cuzzi.
A ball and 2 strikes. Mentioned Phil Cuzzi is the home plate umpire. Got Quinn Walcott over at first. The crew chief, Jerry Davis, as second base tonight. And Chris Conroy is at third. He had the plate last night.
His ears are still ringing.
Not from people yelling at him.
No, from that loud contact, especially in that 4th inning by the White Sox. I don't know if I've ever seen anything quite like that. It was a total collapse on the part of Brandon McCarthy, and every White Sox hitter that came up there was squaring it up. Line drives, home runs. Scary inning offensively for the White Sox.
7 runs on 9 hits in the 4th, and Brandon had been in complete command through 3. 9 up, 9 down, 4 strikeouts, and then boom, another 2-2. Called strike 3.
Brandon McCarthy had been so economical with his pitches, throwing nothing but strikes through the first 3 innings. It looked like it was going to be a great night, and then all of a sudden everything middle of the plate, middle of the plate, middle of the plate, and this is not the kind of team you can just feed strikes to, because they'll do exactly what they did last night in that 4th inning.
There had been some question in looking for an explanation as to whether Brandon had been tipping his pitches. What do you think?
Well, I started to talk about it last night. I'm always a little paranoid when I see an inning like that, tipping pitches or somebody relaying something to the hitters out there in the bleachers. But when you see the location of those pitches, they're tough to miss. A lot of fastballs, mid-thigh, mid-plate, curveballs that were hanging up around the belt, and against a good offensive ball club, they're going to crush those pitches.
Miguel Montero, 276, 4 homers. Miggy 0 for 4 last night. 0-2.
I'll tell you, he didn't say anything on his way back to the dugout, but there was the slightest reaction from Goldie, and he never reacts to what he feels are bad calls. But a couple of pitches in that sequence that ended with a looking strikeout, I don't think Goldie was crazy about the strike zone.
Put him on a list with Ozzie. Down and away here. Got it up, but Miggy fouled it off. Quintana, it seems, has been 0-2 this entire half inning. All 4, in fact, for the Diamondbacks. Pollock, Prado, Goldie, Montero down 0-2 in the count. Up, down, and away. That time Montero chased. 2 strikeouts in the inning for Quintana. Just underway in Chicago. Cellular Field, the Diamondbacks and the White Sox, and your Arizona Ford starting pitcher for the D-backs is the left-hander Wade Miley. His 9th start. Wade has not won a game in more than a month. April 6th at Colorado, his last victory.
Pitched well enough to win last time out against the Padres. Went 7 innings, gave up only 6 hits and 3 runs in that ball game. Game was tied 3-3. Came away with a no decision. See his numbers on the season.
2-3, a 5.14 ERA, and this is a lineup he will face tonight for the White Sox with interim manager Mark Parent.
Gordon Beckham at the top tonight, followed by Marcus Semien. Jose Abreu, got to keep an eye on him. Hit his 13th homer of the season last night. Diane Bisaedo in left field. Alexi Ramirez is short. Paul Konerko over at first base. Moises Sierra in right field. Tyler Flowers behind the plate. And Alejandro De Anza in center field.
Nicely done. Gordon Beckham leads it off, the second baseman. 1 for 5 with an RBI single last night. He's at .233 on the year. Roll to shortstop, Chris Owings. Defensively for the Diamondbacks, it's time for a look at our Mid-First Bank defense.
Well, if Wade Miley is on top of his game, the infield is going to be busy. It'll be Cody Ross, A.J. Pollock, and Gerardo Parra left to right across the outfield. Martin Prado at third base. Chris Owings and Aaron Hill make up the double play combo up the middle. Paul Goldschmidt over at first. Miguel Montero behind the plate, and left-hander Wade Miley on the mound.
Prado, Owings, Hill, and Goldie, third to first. Strike one to Marcus Semien, the former Cal Bear. One of the second base prospects they like a lot in this system. He's at third tonight. Connor Gillespie sitting against the left-hander Miley. Semien 3 for his last 22. He is leading the American League in strikeouts. In fact, the only player in the majors who has struck out more than Marcus Semien is Justin Upton in Atlanta. But there's another side to the coin. This guy's had some timely hits. That's out of play. He also leads the majors with 3 go-ahead homers in the 7th inning or later, so he's shown a flair for the dramatic here this year.
With Robin Ventura off at his daughter's graduation at Oklahoma State, Mark Parent serving as the interim manager here for one night tonight. I would assume that Robin Ventura filled out his lineup card yesterday for today's game, but he may have just put it all in Mark Parent's hands.
This one is in the hands of Gerardo Parra, who calls off Aaron Hill. 2 down. Yeah, it wouldn't be something, well, let me just, Robin's back there in Stillwater, let me just turn the game on, and then,
wait a minute.
Who had Adam Dunn leading off? Get him on the phone. Well, here's Jose Abreu. It's showtime. 13 home runs, leads the major leagues. He had 3 hits last night, including a towering shot to center, measured at more than 440 feet. And he takes strike one. He is leading the American League at RBIs, trailing only Giancarlo Stanton for the Major League lead. And the only player in baseball slugging at a higher percentage than Abreu is Troy Tulowitzki. As Bob pointed out in the open, he sprays the ball to all fields, so he's not just one of these dead pull hitters. He will take you deep and out to right. Chases the slider, and that's the strikeout. 3 up, 3 down for Miley. No score through 1. The first 20,000 at Chase Field next Saturday and get your Gerardo Parra bobblehead, courtesy of St. Joseph's Hospital and Medical Center. And get the most bang for your buck with the D-backs value pack. That's a bleacher ticket, a hot dog, or a Subway sandwich, a regular Pepsi, and a free cookie, all for only $21. More information, visit dbacks.com/value. Gerardo Parra bobblehead. That's a must-have. That's coming up Saturday at Chase Field.
Big homestand. Matt Williams coming back to the Valley. First time as the manager of the Washington Nationals. That one lofted high in the air to center field. Once again, Diaz should have no problem. If my math is correct, I believe Steven Strasburg is going to pitch on Tuesday for the Nats.
Yep.
It'll be fun to watch.
Hey, any homestand at this point is big because we've been out here a long time. This road trip's lasted about a month and a half. A couple of off days in between. San Diego, Milwaukee, a bus down here to Chicago. And 2 more against the White Sox. Then it's home sweet home back in the Valley. A lot of D-backs fans here in the house, we've noticed. Cody Ross.
There's a Kurt Schilling number 38 jersey right down below our perch here in the press box. Some young Diamondbacks fan wearing a Schilling jersey.
The whole group of 50 D-backs fans right there. Season ticket holders who made the trip. Great job by the D-backs fans to support their ball club. Come on out to Chicago for the weekend and watch some ball games. Always great to see. This team gets a ton of support from its fan base, and they do a tremendous job. Well, once again, Quintana's ahead 0-2. This time it's Cody Ross.
And once again, the Diamondbacks hitter took a long stroll after that called strike 2. Phil Cuzzi with an extremely wide strike zone in the early going tonight. He's got reservations at Gene and Giorgetti's after the ball game.
Cody hard to left. And that's the first time really we've seen Cody turn on one and hit it to left field. The hits have been coming. He's had 5 hits in 6 games on this trip, but you know, most of them been to right field, a couple of center, but that one he turned on.
Solid line drive contact that time. A couple of hits to the opposite field last night. One to right center, one right down the right field line. Good to see him pull that ball into left. Down and golf that pitch into left field for a 1-out base runner.
When you see Cody Ross hitting the ball to left field, you know his swing is working. Gerardo Parra. Parra 272 and 3 homers. The homer last night is 3rd of the year. And he's hitting over .330 on this road trip. He has hit in every game.
And after that line drive home run last night, giving the D-backs a 2-0 lead, the way Brandon McCarthy was pitching in the first 3 innings, I thought he was going to make it stand up. That's how good Brandon was through those first 3. But then we know what happened after that. But Gerardo Parra, a line drive homer into right field last night.
Just had that sound when you barrel one up. You are a cigar guy, by the way? You ever smoke cigars?
Well, if it's my cigar, yeah. I used to smoke cigars on occasion.
There's no smoking in the building. And we are just getting blown away in the booth by cigar smoke. Now, I don't want to say who that is. Let me just say that no one's going to tell him he can't smoke in here. But wow. That is down the left field line and drifting foul. I mean, it is a wave of cigar smoke.
Second hand.
The ball and 2 strikes. Yeah, there's no one here that's going to go, pardon me, sir, you can't smoke here.
Oh, really?
Not for that guy.
You're fired.
Bounce to second. Beckham. They get the force on Ross, and that's it. And Parra's aboard with 2 outs.
Hey fans, anytime the D-backs score 6 runs or more, Taco Bell is giving away 3 free tacos with the purchase of a large drink between 4 and 6 the following day at participating locations.
Diamondbacks getting the right-hand power bat of Alfredo Marte into the ball game tonight against the lefty Quintana. Marte 250 on the year, couple of RBIs. Just joined the ball club on this road trip.
Well, Marte might get something to hit tonight. Usually when he's in the lineup, he sees a lot of pitches away, a lot of off-speed pitches away. But as I mentioned at the top of the show, Quintana likes to throw that cutter into right-handed hitters, which should be playing right into Marte's strength.
I've lost track of how many times we've seen him swing like that.
Well, he hasn't gotten cheated, but he hasn't really done himself any favors. I mean, that's a very hittable pitch up over the middle of the plate at 92. He's swinging big.
One ball and one strike to Alfredo Marte. 2 outs, Parra, the runner at first. On the ground to second. Gordon Beckham bobbles it, can't find it, and recovers in time to throw him out. And sends us to the bottom of the second. No score here in Chicago.
Thrill of the game. Baseball is finally here and happening all around us. So go grab a Pepsi and some friends and get out to a D-backs game and live it.
It's time to live for now. Pepsi, the official soft drink of the Arizona Diamondbacks. We back the D-backs. The key when you're eating between innings is all timing. I almost made it. You got to eat on the run. Eat when you can up here.
Telling you. Very little time between innings. Chew fast.
Ian Viciedo leads off the White Sox second against Wade Miley. Viciedo, Ramirez, and Konerko 4, 5, and 6. 306 and 2 homers. A couple of singles in last night's ball game for Viciedo. He scored a run.
Yeah, you need a Pepsi to wash that down.
Live for now, baby. Live for now. It is, after all, the official soft drink of the Arizona Diamondbacks.
Yes, it is.
Pepsi. A lot of Pepsi in this ballpark. This is a Pepsi ballpark. Miley ahead 0-2.
Viciedo, after a great start to the season, has become, well, frankly, a strikeout machine lately. He has struck out at least once in 7 straight games. And the funny thing is, through the first 3 weeks of the year, he had shown much improvement in his plate discipline. But that has vanished. Through 3 weeks, he had struck out just 11 times. Everyone was thrilled. He was laying off sliders and that kind of thing. But now he struck out 15 times in his last 12 games. He's worked it full to open the second. Just does stay alive up there. This has always been a guy who'll strike out more than 20% of the time.
Rattled around and just dropped out of Miguel Montero's glove back there. Viciedo just got a piece of it. Hit off center in Miggy's mid. He just couldn't grab it.
And there's the strikeout. Second for Miley, 1 down. So he's now struck out at least once in 8 straight games. Brings up Alexei Ramirez. Now leading the American League in hitting at 342. Last night, not a bad night. A grand slam and a triple. Goes the other way, backs Parra up. And he's got it at the track. 2 outs. Hey fans, now is the time to tweet us your photo. Use the hashtag AZFanPhoto for your chance to have your picture shown in an upcoming game broadcast brought to you by AT&T. Well, it's finally my chance to do this. I've always wanted to do this, so I'm going to do it right now. Here's Paulie.
Here's Paulie.
Paul Konerko. 7 starts this season, now make it 8. And a new role for him at the age of 38. He comes off the bench.
But if you weren't with us last night on the pregame show, we had Hawk Harrelson on talking about Paul Konerko in the early stages of his career as a member of the White Sox, throwing helmets and bats, and thought he was going to drive himself crazy. But once he learned to control his emotions, funnel that anger into a positive way, he has just been a tremendous ball player. One of the most underrated players in the game.
434 career home runs, nearly 1,400 career RBIs.
With his decreased playing time, Hawk Harrelson said he may be more valuable now in his role as a leader on this team.
Lifts that in the air to center field. A.J. Pollock drifting over toward right has it. And so far 6 up and 6 down against Miley. No score through 2.
a curveball and slider every now and then. And, that's in a nutshell what he does. But you just got to kind of get him uncomfortable. And, when a pitcher's uncomfortable, that's when they start doing leaving it over the plate.
The scouting report on Jose Quintana from the leadoff man, A.J. Pollock, who's on deck to open up the third. As Chris Owings steps in and looks at a strike, 0-1. Very under-the-radar guy, Quintana, but he's pitched well in his time here. Number back to the mound. Quintana's on it. 1-1. Quintana beginning his third season in the big leagues, all with Chicago. And he has always turned in an ERA in the threes. Last year, 33 starts, worked a full 200 innings. And so the White Sox, this March, signed him to an extension. They locked him up long term. AJ, first pitch right to Ramirez, 2 down.
After a lengthy at bat his first time up in the ball game, this time AJ figures he's got a little better read on Quintana, swings at the first delivery and lines out to short.
So 3 pitches, 2 outs in the third. Here's Martin Prado, who singled his first time up. And the White Sox gave Quintana a 5-year, $21 million deal. He's just turned 25 back in January. There's also a $10.5 million club option at the end of that contract, so they control him through 2019. Ball 1.
First time through the lineup, he's been very good. Not so bad the second time through, but the third time through, the numbers jump way up against Quintana.
And like Wade Miley, he has not won a game in more than a month. He's only won April 8th in Colorado. He's pretty well since then. But 5 starts since his last win.
Well, his last time out against the Cubs, I had an opportunity to see some of that ball game on television. He was wicked. 7 innings, gave up only 1 hit, 1 run. The hit was to his opposing number, Jeff Samardzija, who ended up coming around to score.
Hitters count. Prado jumps on that one, but drives it to center right to Diaza. And Quintana works a 1-2-3 third. No score.
Welcome back to U.S. Cellular Field on this Mother's Day weekend. Jody Jackson alongside Melissa Colementor, Josh Colementor's mom. And on this Mother's Day week, I know you won't be here tomorrow, but how nice has it been to be able to come down from Homer, Michigan and spend time with your son?
Oh, yes, awesome. I don't get to see him very often except for on TV, so this is great to be able to spend some time with him.
So question, now that he's in the starting rotation, you don't have to stay up till 1 and 2 in the morning all the time at home, just once a week?
Yeah, because at Homer, when the games are on, for you guys at 7, it's 10 o'clock at our time. So it's kind of nice to be able to pick one night a week to stay up and watch the game instead of every night when he was in the bullpen.
We were talking, and I found it interesting. You said that you and your husband weren't really big into sports, and so Josh's career. Tell me a little bit about how Josh got into not only baseball, but basketball and football.
You know what? I think he's just in his blood, because how do you naturally just play that? I have no idea, because it's not like we took him out and did stuff with him and everything like that. He does have 2 younger brothers, and they had to be like catcher and the batter when Josh was practicing. So I think God just gave him this ability, and it's a love of his, and he just took it and ran with it these years. So
he is such a bright young guy, and I know he has aspirations, politics maybe someday. One of my colleagues actually called him a comedic genius recently. So tell me, does he get that from you or your husband, or where does he get this comedic genius?
I have no idea, because you know what, in school the teachers would be like, he's so ahead of where he is in class-wise that sometimes that's probably why he is the prankster, because he had to find things to do to entertain himself, because he was always done or ahead of the class in whatever they were doing. So sometimes, like when the teachers had to step out of the classroom, they were like, here Josh, take care of taking care of the kids and teaching them what you'd want them to know. So the one nice thing is when he got drafted and he would come home for the fall, the school would have him come down and be a sub teacher. Yeah, so it was pretty cool that he got to go back and he had a younger brother that was still in school. So he said it was really cool to walk back into the school, and they were like, are you Zach Komener's brother? They had no idea that he was playing Major League Baseball. So that was kind of cool for him that Zach got recognition and not him. So that's kind of cool. That's who Josh is all about.
You can do just about anything. Melissa, thanks so much. Happy Mother's Day to you.
You too. Happy Mother's Day.
Thank you so much.
All you D-bag moms.
All right. Thanks, Melissa. Guys, you can add that to the list on substitute teacher. Josh Collmender, just one of the many things that he can do.
You know, I knew a manager who used to talk about scouting and drafting and the development of players, and he would always say the same thing. We're at the mercy of the moms and dads. And we just saw, I think, why Josh is such a terrific pitcher and an outstanding person.
Fruit doesn't fall far from the tree.
Homer, Michigan, good times up there. Population, about 2,000, right? How about John? You're going one day and Josh Collmenter's your substitute teacher. Tyler Flowers lists that high in the air routine for Parra in right. And Wade Miley has retired the first 8 he's faced.
The discipline would not be a problem. Just go in there and lay that tomahawk on the desk.
Just throw it across?
Yeah, fire it across the room into the blackboard.
It's true.
You had a question, son? No, sir, Mr. Collmenter.
Alejandro De Aza. De Aza hitting .203 on the season. And just 2 for 34 against left-handers. And sure enough, bounces the first pitch he sees to Aaron Hill. And 9 up and 9 down for Wade Miley. CenturyLink, your link to what's next. Paul Goldschmidt leads off the 4th for the Diamondbacks. Baseball on Fox Sports Arizona is brought to you in part by Chaz Roberts Air Conditioning and Plumbing. Choose Chaz. Back in Chicago, fans, FoxSportsArizona.com for all your online local sports coverage, post-game reaction and analysis. Craig Morgan with the latest on the Cardinals draft, and Randy Hill with rival executives' take on the Suns' potential trade chips. All that and more right now for you, FoxSportsArizona.com. Well, 3 Major League players began today with 50 or more base hits. 2 of them are in the game right here. Alexei Ramirez and Paul Goldschmidt. Goldie struck out looking his first time up. And third, by the way, is Melky Cabrera. Tigers beat the Twins today, so they're 4.5 up on the White Sox atop the AL Central. Melky Cabrera in Toronto, where the Blue Jays are. AL East is kind of interesting. I don't know what's going on there. But there's the Milkman at the top. Marcus Semien trying to get used to playing third and found that one in his glove. He has not played any third, certainly in the minor leagues, but they like his bat in there tonight against the lefty.
I'm not sure if he caught that ball or that ball caught him. He was looking over to the third base coach's box when that ball went into his glove. Aye.
He literally caught that with his eyes closed. He was out there taking grounders at third all afternoon. Not a lot of experience over there, and it looked like it on that one. Here's Miguel Montero. Miggy struck out his first time up. Once again, Quintana's ahead 0-2.
Hey, fans, when the D-backs win, you win at Papa John's. The day after every Diamondbacks win, you get 50% off your regular menu price online order at Papa John's. Enter promo code D-backs50 at papajohns.com.
A ball and 2 strikes. Miggy 7 hits on the road trip, including a home run. And there are the platoon splits. He's over 200 against lefties this year. Lanes off, and it's even 2 balls and 2 strikes. Wind is swirling here in the ballpark.
We had a wind blowing straight out most of the night last night, between 15 and 20 miles per hour. Tonight, you can tell just by the temperature. There's a little cooler wind blowing in off the lake.
We are downwind of the cigar here. 2-2. Flowers can't hang on there, and Miggy's still alive. Good crowd here tonight. On a nice night, had 19,000 last night. A lot more than that tonight, it looks like. Sun setting on the south side. Got that ivy up there in center field. Redid this ballpark after it first opened. Trying to give it a little more personality. This is high in the air to shallow right center. Piazza has it. 2 down. 6 in a row retired by Quintana. When this ballpark first opened, it was sterile. It was clinical. It was like a hospital in here. But they kind of made some tweaks and tried to give it a little bit of personality. Changed the outfield, added some ivy, some other things.
I kind of like this little deck. I'm not sure exactly what it's called. Just below the upper deck, there's a section of seats. Looks like it would be perfect for a family reunion or gathering. There's plenty of seats still available out there in section 312, but yeah, that little overhang right there. That's a nice section of seats. Great sight lines.
Yeah, behind the dugouts, actually. That's a good spot. Well, we have had 2 base runners in the game so far. Prado and Ross, 2 singles, have yet to have a runner reach second base in the ball game. As Aaron Hill takes strike 1, 2-1 now. Miley has retired all 9 he's faced.
It goes without saying you'd like to get some guys in scoring position. The numbers against Quintana would say that when you do have runners in scoring position, that's when you can get to him.
Lift that one up.
Yeah, with runners in scoring position this year, the opposition hitting .355 with an over .900 OPS. With 2 outs and runners in scoring position, it jumps up to .421.
Called strike 3. 3 strikeouts for Quintana. He's set down 7 straight. And Aaron Hill giving Phil Cuzzy a look or two. We are still scoreless.
Of the 4th inning, Aaron Hill with the look back to Phil Cuzzy, the home plate umpire, after taking that called 3rd strike. It looked like a pretty good pitch, just catches that inside corner. I think Aaron Hill's argument was you're giving him 6 inches off the outside corner. You can't give him that pitch too.
Well, in this series, White Sox hitters through the first 3 innings are 0 for 18. And as we learned last night, the 4th inning is where they start to turn it on. Gordon Beckham leads off against Miley. 0-1. 7 4th inning runs for Chicago last night. They have scored 4th inning runs in 4 straight games.
Well, with that in mind, let's take a look at our Valley Honda keys to the game. Let's have a happy 4th, please. No fireworks.
Well, hopefully this one's a dud.
55 days until the 4th of July, by the way. One of my favorite holidays.
What do you got going?
Nothing. It's just, 4th of July was always, as a kid growing up, Little League in a small town, the 4th of July was a big deal because we got to play at the fairgrounds. They had lights. We actually played night games. That was big.
You're in Little League playing night at the fairgrounds. That's big time.
That is big time.
Especially in Coshocton.
And then the fireworks afterwards, it was a big day. I've always loved the 4th. Not the 4th inning, the 4th of July. It used to be a whole big deal in Coshocton, small town, about 10,000 people. You'd have the minor Little League All-Star game, followed by the major Little League All-Star game, followed by the Junior League All-Star game, followed by men's fast-pitch softball.
That's a big day.
Oh, big day, big day.
A little slice of Americana, Coshocton, Ohio.
I'm telling you. One year we actually had Joey Chitwood's Auto Thrill Show after the softball game.
When they're driving cars through fire and stuff?
Yeah. Crashing into things. It was great.
You didn't have enough explosions going with the fireworks.
No.
A lot of Diamondback fans made the trip to Chicago for the weekend. And there's a great deal of Sedona red here among the pink as we celebrate Mother's Day this weekend in Chicago. Gordon Beckham has the White Sox first hit, and the first batter of the fourth has reached. An 8-pitch at bat ends up at a Beckham single, the first for the White Sox.
Somewhat similar progression for Wade Miley as we saw for Quintana, although it really jumps up the third time through the order for Quintana.
Marcus Semien. And Beckham is just back in time, says Quinn Wolcott at first. Big Daryl Boston coaching down there, first base for the White Sox. Beckham has one stolen base on the year. He's not a big threat. Here's a double play ball. Owings, Hill, Goldie. They roll it. And Wade Miley, who was one of the best ground ball pitchers in the major leagues last year, gets 2 outs with 1 grounder right there.
Chris Owings wanted to really make sure he smothered that ground ball. Got his right leg behind the glove. Flips onto Aaron Hill. Turns it into an easy double play.
Here's Jose Abreu. Buckle up. A strikeout victim his first time against Miley. Ball 1. Abreu, the first player in White Sox history with at least 13 homers in his first 37 career games. And this is a franchise that has been around a while. Everybody you run into here with the White Sox tells you a story about an at-bat they've seen this guy take. You should have said, I saw this guy this one spring training game, he hit it over the moon and this and that and the other thing. And he has got them buzzing here in Chicago.
Well, another recurring theme is the praise of his professionalism, his preparation, his work ethic. It's a great example.
2 balls and 2 strikes. Great history there. Bill Melton, who was on those White Sox teams back in the 60s and 70s. Harold Baines, Jermaine Dye, Jim Thome. A lot of statues out there. And the whole outfield pavilion of some of the great White Sox hitters. Benny Minoso. Abreu strikes out. That's 4 strikeouts for Miley. And there's your 4th inning, baby.
Nice.
We made it.
Doesn't matter if a guy's got 12 home runs or no home runs. If you pitch ahead of the count, you got a better chance of making them get themselves out, and that's basically what you try to do. You don't want it. You're not getting them out. You're helping them get their own self out with good pitches.
That is our Geico quote of the game from pitching coach Mike Harkey. They're talking to Miguel Montero, and so far Wade Miley has gotten Jose Abreu to strike out twice, one each ace, then looking, and so far so good against the young man that has 13 home runs. But it's a good point. Harkey's advice to his pitchers: pitch to your strengths.
So far so good is right. We are scoreless here in the 5th inning after all that White Sox offense last night, especially the 4th. They did get a hit against Miley, but a double play ball and a strikeout sends us to the 5th, and Cody Ross leads it off for the D-backs. And he's quickly down 0-2.
We've seen a lot of 0-2 counts in the ball game already. The combination of the wide strike zone by Phil Cuzzi and two pitchers that are willing to throw strikes early in the count. It seems like every hitter is up there battling behind.
Well, we're talking about all the great statues out there, all the great White Sox hitters, and this is a terrific one that gets a lot of attention right there. It's the great Harold Baines.
Oh,
another guy that, like Paul Konerko, really one of the most underrated hitters of his generation.
I saw Harold Baines make his professional debut in Appleton, Wisconsin.
What league is it? Pioneer League?
No, that was the Midwest League at the
League.
time, yeah. We saw Harold Baines, and at the time he was just a skinny kid out of high school, a #1 pick, had a boatload of money at the time, and when he first came to professional baseball, you could literally knock the bat right out of his hands, but he figured it out rather quickly.
You think?
Woo!
Cody hits another one hard to left, and that is a foul ball. He just missed it. That's a really good sign right there. That's a really good sign for him.
Just a little too much side English on that one. Looked like it had a chance to stay fair down into the corner, but hit it into the wind, exaggerated that break on the ball, and ended up in foul territory.
Quintana has faced 15 hitters. He's got 7 0-2 counts. Cody has battled back even now, 2-2. And it's full. Harold Baines. All those hits, 2,800 hits, just missed 3,000. Of course, Pudge Fisk, who somehow ended up playing longer in Chicago than he did in Boston. 3-2 to Cody Ross. Base hit. The bat is starting to come around for Cody. Cody had a pair of hits last night, including his first extra base hit, a double in the 5th. And now here in the 5th tonight, he's got his second hit. He's 2 for 2.
You see Cody getting up on top of a high pitch, barrels it up, back up the middle of the field, right at you. I'm talking about Carlton Fisk, and I've bemoaned the fact that several times this year for the Diamondbacks, I'd like to see somebody go out to the mound and slow the game down for our pitching staff a little bit, and nobody did that better than Carlton Fisk.
He took his time when he did everything.
He would put that mask up on top of his helmet and walk out to the mound, and it would take a minute for him to get from home plate to the mound. Then he would stand out on the mound as long as the home plate umpire would allow him, and then turn around and take a minute to walk back behind home plate.
Gerardo Parra. This one is chopped to third. Simeon will go to second for the force on Cody, and that's it. So twice in the ball game now, Cody Ross has singled, and Gerardo Parra has hit into a force out at second. So he's aboard with 1 out for Alfredo Marte. Remember, Pudge Fisk was the Rookie of the Year in 1972 with the Red Sox. And then a year or two later, broke his leg in a terrible home plate collision. And he, along with Johnny Bench, correct me if I'm wrong here, really kind of started that swipe tag that is so much talked about now with a rule change at home plate.
Yeah.
He was one of the front runners with that move.
Well, and Carlton Fisk and Johnny Bench were two guys that you wanted in that lineup every day. You didn't want them involved in collisions at home plate, risking an injury and possible downtime on the disabled list. So those guys really mastered it.
0-1 to Marte. Pudge Fish somehow 11 years in Boston, 13 in Chicago.
And that was about the time that everybody went to the catcher's mitt with the single break in the heel of the glove. Before that, they used to call it a donut. There was actually no hinge in the glove whatsoever.
It was the Joe G glove, right?
Yeah, they looked like a pillow. But Bench and Fisk, about the time they got going in the early 70s, late 60s. Randy Hundley, another guy that went to that single hinge glove, which was a little bit more like a first baseman's mitt with a lot of padding, but much more versatile behind the plate. You could catch the ball and do that swipe tag. With the old donut mitt, you had to use two hands to make sure that ball stayed in the glove.
One ball and one strike to Alfredo Marte. That is a rocket down the left field line, and Parr's on the run. Here he comes into third. Glenn Sherlock will wave him in. Here's the throw, and he is safe. Alfredo Marte drives in the game's first run with a base hit down the left field line, and it's 1-0 D-backs. That's the third RBI for Marte. It's an RBI double.
Well, the deeper you get into a scoreless game, the more chances a third base coach is going to take. Gerardo Parra off on contact over there at first base as that ball is lined down into that left field corner. You can see Sherrills is waving Parra all the way. That ball was in the air back to the cutoff man. He was still going to send it.
You'll play higher odds later into a game?
Well, that's what I used to tell my third base coaches. Hey, we don't know if we're going to score a run in this ball game. We don't know how many opportunities we're going to get from this point forward. If we got a shot, send him.
Well, consider this. That is the first base runner to get past first base in the ball game tonight for either side. And the Diamondbacks take advantage with the game's first run. 0-1 to Chris Owings, who grounded out his first time.
And Parra made it easy for Glenn Sherlock to send him as well.
That one is into left center. Marte had to head back to the bag at second, and that's going to cost him a base as Owings is in at second. Marte was heading back toward the second base bag as the ball went into left center.
Yeah, Marte has to know where that shortstop is. You can see where Ramirez was playing over in the hole for Chris Owings. That's one of the last things you do as a base runner is take a peek over your shoulder, see where the shortstop is, see where the second baseman is, so you know whether you can advance or not on that ball hit back up the middle of the field.
And it's another hustle double for Chris Owings. So a single and back-to-back doubles in the inning have led to a run. And here's the leadoff man, A.J. Pollock. Seventh double for CO. Diamondbacks threatening here, second and third, a run in, still only one out. AJ's 0 for 2. He swings at the first pitch, little looper in shallow center, and it gets in. Marte had to hold up, he will score, and it's 2-0 Diamondbacks. RBI for A.J. Pollock. That's 3 straight hits. And this has kind of a feel to it that the White Sox fourth inning had last night. These guys are up there hitting the first or second pitch in the at-bats. 3 hits on 4 pitches now.
Second at bat in the rope for A.J. Pollock to attack that first pitch. He lined out to short in his last at bat. This time a little jam shot floater into shallow center field that'll score Marte and move Owings up to third.
Conference time at the mound for the White Sox. Phil Cuzzi out to break it up. An RBI double by Marte, RBI single for Pollock. 2 runs in, still only 1 out. First and third for Martin Prado. Prado 1 for 2. He singled in the first.
That little hit and run here. Good guy at the plate, handles the bat extremely well. Good speed at both first and third. Stay out of that double play.
Just going to ask you that. It has that feel to it. And AJ's been running lately. Had a stolen base last night. Ball one.
And one of the prerequisites for a hit and run is to have a pitcher on the mound that's throwing strikes. If you know the guy's going to be around the plate, it's a good gamble, especially with a guy like Prado who handles the bat and hits the ball to the right side so well.
Because you need at least a somewhat hittable pitch on the hit and run.
Absolutely.
1-0. And so far he's missing, and missing by a wide margin. 2 balls and no strikes. Dugout to Glenn Sherlock to Martin Prado.
And then a verbal indication to Chris Owings at third base what's going on.
The 2-0. In the air to center. Owings is at third. Diaz trying to find it up there, has to come in. Here comes Owings, and he will score. The throw's cut off. RBI for Prado, and it's 3-0 D-backs. I don't know if it was the light sky or the wind, but Diaz, it looked like he might not find that one.
He's had some adventurous routes on fly balls out there already in this game tonight. He seemingly breaks back on everything and then comes charging in to make the play. Had all his momentum going toward his target, but that throw was tailing badly to the first base side, so Paul Konerko just cuts it off, and Chris Owings, with that speed down the third baseline, he's going to score easily.
So now 2 outs. AJ still at first, and here's Goldie. Paul Goldschmidt struck out in the first, grounded out in the fourth. He's 0 for 2. Goldie last night 0 for 4, had 4 ground ball outs. That snapped a 9-game hit streak. You got to like this matchup here for Goldie against the lefty. Strike thrower is having a tough inning. There goes Pollock. Here's the throw from Flowers, and it is not in time. AJ has the stolen base. That's his 3rd of the year.
We picked a good pitch to run on there. That time Quintana used a high leg kick on the pitch before. He used that low slide step and unloaded the ball quickly. This time took him a lot longer to get that ball to Flowers, who does everything he can behind the plate. Just a great jump by AJ.
And Jerry Davis keeping a close eye on AJ's feet there as he popped up off that bag. And now Goldie's ahead, 3 balls and no strikes. Quintana had retired the last 7 he'd faced going into this inning. Now they'll walk Goldschmidt with first base open and pitch to Miguel Montero. So a chance for Miggy, 2 on and 2 out. He's 0 for 2. Iggy batting .306 as the cleanup hitter this year, including 3 of his 4 home runs.
They give him a lot of room in that right center field gap. Sierra playing straight up in right field. Diaz shaded over to the gap in left center.
Yeah, anything to right center scores Goldie from first. Montero, 8th man to hit in this inning. Chases that one, 1-2.
The hits by direction for Miguel Montero, most of them to center and right field.
It was the Brewers that had a Miggy shift on him.
Yeah. Although against Quintana, you have to believe Miggy should, at least now with 2 strikes, be thinking opposite field. Probably not going to get anything good that he can pull hard. Stay on that ball like he was early in the season and drive it to left.
Lays off there, and it's even. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Good time for his first hit in the series. 0 for 6 so far against the White Sox. 2 on, 2 out, the 2-2. Well, Jose Quintana can empathize with Brandon McCarthy. It's turned into a big inning. Not quite as big, obviously, as the one the White Sox enjoyed in the 4th last night. But in this 5th, he has thrown 26 pitches. And given up 3 runs. Another 2-2. Out of play.
It's not a high percentage play, but A.J. Pollock looked like he's itching to steal third base. A nice walking lead out there at second. Ramirez playing way behind him.
Don't forget, you've got Simeon over there playing third. He is not a third baseman, so you might catch him by surprise. 2 on, 2 outs. Full count, 3 balls, 2 strikes. Runners will be off with a pitch. Called strike 3, says Phil Cuzzi. And the Diamondbacks strand 2, but they get 3. Alfredo Marte, the RBI double. And then A.J. Pollock, little bloop single, scores a run. Diamondbacks lead the White Sox 3-0.
sac fly to put 3 runs on the board, take a lead as we head to the bottom of the 5th. Miguel Montero called out on strikes to end that inning. Once again, a pitch that's not in the strike zone. That doesn't make it right, but Phil Cuzzi has established very early on for both teams that he will go off the outside corner. Got to be ready to protect away.
So something for Wade Miley to keep in mind. He has faced the minimum through 4. Beckham singled in the last half inning. That was erased on a double play ball. So the White Sox have had 1 hit and a base runner. As Dayon Viciedo opens up the 5th. He struck out his first time. Base hit. So how much discussion when the strike zone is expanding or contracting, or in this case really expanding? How hot a topic of discussion is that in the dugout?
Well, it should be a topic of discussion even before the game starts. Phil Cuzzi has that reputation. He's been that way his whole career. He calls a wide strike zone, especially off that outside corner. You have to know it going into the ball game. Once again, it doesn't make it right, but if you know that's going to be the rules you're playing under on that given night, you have to be prepared, make some kind of an adjustment, cheat up on the plate a little bit more, at least mentally think away a little bit more, because that's where pitchers are going to go, where they get easy strikes.
Alexei Ramirez flying out his first time up.
I just think it's comical that you've got a guy nicknamed Tank hitting in front of Alexei Ramirez. Getting back to Rocky Bridges, my boy, my AAA manager. A guy like Alexei Ramirez, he'd say if he'd stick out his tongue, he'd look like a zipper.
He's skinny.
He's really skinny.
6'2", 180.
Well, between Viciedo and Ramirez, it looks like a before and after for a diet pill or something.
And it's not the guy named Tank, but the skinny guy who came in leading the American League and hitting at .342. And the grand slam last night. 1-1.
Kind of built like Mark Belanger. They called him the Blade. Tall and thin.
Yeah, but he hit 180.
Yeah.
In a good year. Another Cuban on this White Sox team. Mark Belanger, one of the great defensive shortstops of all time. And then on that '79 Oriole team that lost in 7 games to the Pirates in the World Series, they wanted a little more offense at the position. Bring in Kiko Garcia. Kiko, who might have won the MVP in that World Series had not Pop Stargell and company took Game 7 after they were down in that series 3-1. Speaking of 3-1, that's the count to Ramirez. And so Wade Miley already in trouble, leadoff man aboard, and he's behind on Ramirez. And that guy's on deck. Paulie. Viciedo, the runner at first. Popped him up. We'll see if it'll stay in play for Goldie. Fighting that wind. 1 away. Paul Konerko.
About with the way the wind is blowing tonight, straight in from center field, that one might get pushed up in the stands, but Paul Goldschmidt has just enough room to make the play.
It is breezy and it swirls in this stadium with this very tall circular structure all around between foul pole to foul pole, so that creates a swirling wind blowing straight in from center. Konerko lined out to center his first time. Strike one. Konerko just his 8th start this year. A couple of doubles when he last started. That was Wednesday here. An 8-3 win over the Cubs. Drove in 3 runs. That one is gone. Career home run number 435, and it's 3-2. Chaparral High School. And he hit that one to the valley. It's a one-run game. Moving up the charts now, 435. And he's only now, let's see, 3 RBIs shy of 1,400.
No doubt about that one. I don't care what direction the wind is blowing. When you square one up like that and pull that ball, man, no doubt about it. Cody Ross just turned around, took a couple steps back toward the wall so he could see where it landed. He knew he had no chance to make the play.
So that's 4.35 for the career. Don't forget he was drafted by the Dodgers originally. As Sierra grounds out. 428 with the White Sox. So he's only 20 behind the Big Hurt on the White Sox all-time list. Two outs for the catcher Tyler Flowers. That's the 8th home run given up this year for Miley. And this is start for him, number 9. Smoke from the fireworks still clearing. Or the cigar.
Could be the cigar.
Flowers a pair of hits last night, including his 2nd home run of the year. And he has had a tremendous start to his season for a guy that was all catch and no offense. That was the label anyway. He did not go, says Quinn Wolcott at first, so it's 2-0. Flowers struggled through a bad shoulder for much of last year. Finally had to call it quits in September and have exploratory surgery just to find out what was going on in there. He was in severe pain all season long, but wanted his shot to be the starting catcher with A.J. Pierzynski finally gone.
Well, Flowers figures to do the bulk of the catching this year, and by the bulk I mean almost all of it. Their backup catcher is a Rule 5 pick, a kid that's never played above A ball.
Adrian Nieto, who they got from the Nationals. Well, Flowers says ideally he catches 130 games or more. Played 84 games last season as he fought through that bad shoulder. 52 as Pierzynski's backup 2 years ago. Guy knows a thing or two about hitting. 6-time All-Star, 7 times with at least 30 home runs in a season. At least 90 RBIs 9 times. Not a play. First round pick by the Dodgers in the '94 draft, the 13th player selected overall. Paul Konerko. He was drafted right after Nomar Garciaparra and right before Jason Varitek.
Pretty solid draft.
Of course, the Mariners were the team that took Varitek. They got him. And the Red Sox got him from Seattle. And one of the great deals of all time. Derek Lowe and Jason Varitek for Heathcliff Slocum. Flowers strikes out, but the White Sox get 2 on the Konerko home run. It's a 3-2 ball game. CenturyLink, your link to what's next. You'll see Cody Ross coming up. So far, he's 2 for 2. 35 career homers, has made it a one-run game. Chaparral High School, 3 things you need to know about Paul Konerko. Moved from Connecticut to Scottsdale when he was 11 years old. Played for the, of course, 05 World Series winners here in Chicago. He was the American League Championship Series MVP, and he's been the captain ever since. Drafted by the Dodgers in '94, traded to the Reds in a deal for Jeff Shaw, traded to the White Sox in a deal for Mike Cameron, and he's been here ever since. Aaron Hill leads off the 6th against Jose Quintana. Ball 1 to Hill, who has flied out and struck out 0 for 2. Quintana got that one up, but Aaron just missed it. 1-1. Aaron Hill, 6 games on this road trip. He's got 8 hits and 6 RBIs. It's been a good journey here. He was 0 for 3 with a walk last night, 0 for 2 tonight. One and 2. Quintana now at 93 pitches. Red Sox bullpen has some stirring out there. In the air, shallow center. Diaz coming in. And he's got it. That's the first out. Hey, hurry up and vote for Arizona's Superfan. Log on to foxsportsarizona.com/superfan. And you can vote for the true super fan of Arizona sports. Most of them are here. A lot of D-backs fans in attendance. The winner gets a sports lover's dream prize package. So we need your vote. foxsportsarizona.com/superfan. A lot of D-back nation here in the house, as the kids say. Cody Ross 2 for 2. And Cody's 3 for 3. He lines another one to left field. And that's exactly the kind of swing we were talking about. Is such a good sign for Cody when he's turning on those pitches and taking the ball to left.
Well, it seems like when you're struggling to find your rhythm and timing up there at the plate, you'll never square up a ball to your pull field. But tonight, that's all Cody Ross has done. That's a tremendous sign for the D-backs offense.
He's now got 8 hits on this road trip, Cody. And how about this? The Diamondbacks 6 through 9 hitters are 5 for 9 with 3 runs. It's the bottom of the order and has done all the damage against Quintana. That's Ross, Parra, Marte, and Owings. Although Pollock and Prado, 1 and 2, do have RBIs. Most of the hits have been coming from 6 through 9. In fact, Parr is the only guy in that group that does not have a base hit. He has twice reached on a fielder's choice. And he's hit in 7 straight and 14 of 16. A ball and a strike. Cody's got his son on the trip wearing his Cody Ross 7 jersey. He's on the bus. He's playing catch during batting practice. He's all over.
Living large.
He's got that big smile. He's living the major league life.
Crushing that bubble gum.
And you can tell what it means to Cody to get to spend this time with his son. So his son will have a memory of him as a major leaguer and that shared experience. He's a proud papa. This is funny. He gets on the bus from the hotel to come over to the ballpark, and he's got his uniform on. There's Hudson, and he comes on the bus, and he's got that look on his face, like, "Oh, I'm on the bus. Oh boy." He's having a great time. Here's Dad.
Give me that bat.
2-2. Plays catch with Martin Prado. Plays a lot of catch with Mark Reed, the bullpen catcher. Parra just barely stays alive there. And Quintana now at 100 pitches.
Sweeping breaking ball here from Quintana, and Parra able just to get a piece to stay alive. Emergency swing right there. Force him to throw one more.
Zach Putnam, the right-hander, has been warming up for the White Sox. We saw him last night. That's out of play. There is Zach Putnam. There with Bobby Thigpen. Remember Bobby Thigpen?
Oh, sure.
Racked up a lot of saves for the White Sox. Number 37. Another 2-2. And it's full. A heck of an at bat by Gerardo Parra here. Don't forget Gerardo Parra bobblehead day coming up at Chase Field. That is Saturday, a week from today, against the Dodgers. Buy your tickets at dbacks.com and get the Parra bobblehead.
Bobby Thigpen, part of what very possibly could have been the most star-studded college team ever. Jeff Brantley, Will Clark, Rafael Palmeiro, Bobby Thigpen.
Mississippi State.
Yeah.
Hashtag Hail State. Jeff Brantley, the cowboy. And he's a dandy.
Will Clark, Will the Thrill.
We get to see the cowboy whenever we visit Cincinnati, or they come here to us. And Mississippi State had a great, has always had a great baseball program. SEC country, Starkville, Stark Vegas. Ninth pitch of the at-bat on the way. In fact, if you go to the baseball stadium in Starkville, I've been there a couple of times, there's a giant, and I mean a giant, picture of Buck Showalter's head on the side of the ballpark. Just his head. It's huge. Along with Bobby Thigpen and Will Clark and some of the other Mississippi State Bulldog greats. Another 3-2 to Parra. Seems like he's been up there for about 35 minutes.
4 foul balls once he got to the 2-strike count. Pretty similar to the first at bat of the ball game by A.J. Pollock.
Off the fist, little flare, and it's in the glove of Beckham behind the bag. Good range there by the White Sox second baseman. And that's the second out. Brings up Alfredo Marte, the DH tonight. An RBI double. He scored a run his last time up. And a pair of hits in his season debut. That was a week ago at Petco Park in San Diego. He's 1 for 2 tonight. Strike one. Marte's third start on this road trip, just his third start this year. By the way, we timed it. Parr's at bat took 6 minutes. That's big league. Coming inside here, 0-1. Got it up, out over the plate, but Marte missed it, and it's 0-2. With that wild swing, you'd like to see him, I presume, a little more under control with some of these swings?
Yeah, probably. I mean, when you take those big swings, there's really nothing wrong with swinging hard as long as you keep your head on the ball. But inevitably, when you take that big, hard swing, you don't see it all the way to contact. You end up chasing bad pitches, swinging through balls that you should hit. Just a little bit more under control.
Pitch out, nothing doing with Cody at first.
Wow. Check your scouting report. The guy's coming off a broken hip.
Which he injured, by the way, running the bases. Hello, McFly. He's got to laugh it over there. Big swing and a miss. Strikeout number 5 for Quintana. He strands the 1-out single. Diamondbacks lead it 3-2.
Before the White an affiliate of the Susan G. Komen Foundation to support breast cancer awareness and education with the Pink Out game. You saw the parade on the field. Breast cancer survivors out on the field to start the game with White Sox players. First pitch and the players supporting the initiative with the pink caps today. Great to see, and they'll continue this, of course, tomorrow, Mother's Day, with the honorary Batgirl joining. And the first 10,000 women who entered the ballpark also received a pink scarf from the White Sox, and there you see the balloons that went off right after the anthem. So fantastic weekend, not only celebrating the lives of the breast cancer survivors, but also creating awareness and education to help save more lives, guys.
Great job by the White Sox and their fans here, Jody, and to get behind the initiative started by Major League Baseball a while ago, raising awareness and funds for breast cancer research. And the players, to their credit, have really embraced that as well, with pink wristbands and shoes and bats and everything. De Asa pops up to open up the 6th.
Well, if most of these guys in the major leagues were honest with you, they'd tell you they wouldn't be here had it not been for Mom washing the uniforms, taking them to practice, taking them to games, putting Band-Aids on their boo-boos, giving them some sport when things are going tough, and keeping their head on their shoulders when things are going well.
Well, the guy from the Diamondbacks will tell you that is Martin Prado. Remember, Martin had his mom move up here from Venezuela, moved up to the Valley last year. That helped him turn things around, feel a little more at home, get some home-cooked meals. He came up and lived with him for a while last season from Venezuela. And Jody Jackson tells us that Martin's mom is back up here in about 2 weeks.
So we have a countdown to the hot streak.
Exactly. I was just going to say, get on board sometime right about the end of May. 1-2 on Gordon Beckham. Beckham singled his last time up. He has one of the 3 White Sox hits against Wade Miley, the big one. Now Paul Konerko, 2-run homer in the 5th. His first of the year. Beckham drives that to center. This ball is well hit, but it's short of the track for Pollock, and that's the second out.
Well, unlike De Aza, who's had some issues judging fly balls to center field tonight, A.J. Pollock got a really quick jump on that ball. Just turned and ran to the spot, looked back over his shoulder, and he was exactly where he needed to be to make the play.
For me, that was the difference between A.J. and Adam Eaton, was the jumps and the routes on balls to center field.
No question about it. I mean, Adam Eaton would still make some tremendous plays, but when you back up the video, he didn't always take a direct route to where the ball came down, which is why he had to leave his feet so often to make some of those plays. Certainly, as we mentioned last night, they love him here in Chicago. They love his hustle, the way he plays the game, but just those instincts and then nose for the ball, knowing where to go, get there as quickly as possible.
Kevin Towers said it wasn't that the Diamondbacks disliked Adam Eaton, they just really liked A.J. Pollock. And between those two guys, the Diamondbacks didn't like the idea of having an outfield that was just defense and no pop. So they decided to make the move and trade Adam Eaton and bring in Mark Trumbo and keep Pollock's defense in center field. And his bat, it's close, but it more likely has some extra base power in there than Adam Eaton's, I think. Because when AJ's hitting, and he's a streaky hitter, he can hit line drives. He's got some power in that bat. That one is just foul. And these two were busy trade partners in the offseason, Kevin Towers and White Sox GM Rick Hahn.
Yeah, we talked a little bit about this before the opener last night. Matt Davidson, a good-looking young player. I think he's going to have a fine major league career for the White Sox or somebody else, but Diamondbacks were dealing from a position of strength. They knew that Martin Prado was going to play every day at third base. That made Matt Davidson expendable. They needed a legitimate lockdown closer, and Addison Reed, although not always lockdown, he's been getting the job done.
Keep in mind, A.J. finished second only to Gold Glove winner Carlos Gomez in defensive runs saved among Major League center fielders last year. And Simeon lines a 2-out single into left. 8-pitch at bat.
I really hate to see Matt Davidson's hair leave, though.
Oh, he had hair like Aquaman. Woo-hoo. And the thing that stands out of A.J.'s center field defense, he's very smooth, as you mentioned. He covers a lot of ground. He doesn't jump out at you because he gets where he's supposed to go. And he positions himself well. He's got those long legs and big strides. He's reminded me a little bit of Bernie Williams. With those long legs, covers a lot of ground, not flashy, not a lot of diving catches or home run robberies. He just is where he's supposed to be all the time. Big moment of the game right here, Jose Abreu. He is 0 for 2. He has struck out twice. Simeon single, just the 4th White Sox hit.
Mike Harkey on his way out to the mound to have a meeting with Wade Miley. While they're out there, everybody watches the highlight shows, and I think there's a misconception that because a guy makes a tremendous diving catch that he's a good outfielder. Now, some of them are, but a lot of times the guy has to dive because he took such a bad route to get to the baseball. Saw a guy the other day, I won't mention his name, a left fielder that ran straight across from left towards center and then turned and went straight back to the wall. Made a nice leaping catch up against the wall, and the announcers were just going crazy. Well, if he had gone to the spot, it would have been a routine, normal, on your feet, make a catch, no problem. And I think sometimes people get fooled because they see guys make all these amazing catches, but they made it hard on themselves because of the route they took to get to the ball.
The banana route to the ball.
Oh, yeah, or S route.
Zigzag. That is rolled to short. Chris Owings, they go the short way for the force on Simeon, and they have kept Abreu off the bases tonight. Diamondbacks first 6 lead at 3-2. Century Link, your link to what's next coming up for the D-backs. It's Owings, Pollock, and Prado in the 7th. Join the Diamondbacks in paying homage to the King Friday, May 16th. It's Elvis night at Chase Field. You'll enjoy a pregame Elvis tribute show at the Game 7 Grill on the Gila River Plaza. And then after the game, it's our Friday night fireworks set to classic Elvis hits. 25,000 fans can't be wrong. Purchase a special Elvis night ticket package, and you'll even get a custom Elvis night t-shirt, gold sunglasses, sideburns, the whole thing. And you only get the giveaway items through the special offer, so log on and visit dbacks.com/events for tickets today. New pitcher for the White Sox. We saw him last night on for the 9th time this year. Is the right-hander Zach Putnam.
Pitched an inning in the 3rd last night, 1 strikeout, otherwise zeros across the board. Showed a real good split-fingered fastball to go along with his cutter and sinker.
And a work to Chris Owings, A.J. Pollock, and Martin Prado, 9-1-2 in the Arizona 7th. Diamondbacks lead at 3-2. We got 3 in the 5th. RBIs by Marte, Pollock, and Prado. White Sox answered with 2 in the home half of the 5th. Paul Konerko, a 2-run shot, his first of the year. By the way, after a heated argument with our, and I want to emphasize this more than ever, highly unreliable staff member in the booth, I was just pointing out in the previous half inning that A.J. Pollock reminds me of Bernie Williams defensively, the way they play and roam center field. Similar styles, similar body types, similar approaches defensively. One more time, I'm going to throw you right under the bus. I'll just name, address, phone number, contact him at this number.
There's that splitter. Boy, that is a nasty pitch. Just watch this ball bottom out as it gets into the hitting zone. Chris Owings. That looks like a fastball out of his hand. Same arm speed, same release, same arm angle. Everything's the same.
That one is drilled to left center. That's well hit, and that ball is off the top of the wall. He just missed a home run, and Owings is wheels up, heading for third. He'll make the first out of the inning at third base after just missing his second big league home run. It would have been his second homer on this road trip, and he is really starting to drive the ball.
We've given CO his props on his base running speed, but this is a base running mistake right here. Leading off the inning. That plays right in front of you out there in left center field. As you round that bag at second, you can see what's happening out there on the warning track. You're already in scoring position at second base for the top of the order. Should have stopped at second.
That's a double 8-6-5 on the putout. Life of a 22-year-old in the major leagues. It's part of the process. This is CO taking the turn.
Right there, you could see what was happening out there on the warning track and thought he could outrun that relay throw to third base. Unfortunately, Ramirez put it right on the bag.
And a one-run game, that hurts. 2-0 on Pollock. AJ 1 for 3, an RBI single and a stolen base his last time up. Three and one. Ball four. A one-out base runner for Martin Prado. We mentioned how Jose Quintana had pitched very well, but really only had one win to show for it, and this will be his sixth straight winless start, despite giving up only 3 runs.
Through first pitch strikes to 18 of the 26 hitters he faced, had 8 0-2 counts in the ball game, but right now is on the line for the loss.
That's a tough one for Quintana, who has really pitched well lately. His only win of the year, April 8th at Colorado. Martin Prado, strike one. Prado singled in the first, had an RBI sac fly his last time up in that 3-run Diamondback fifth. Matched up here with Zach Putnam, the right-hander from the University of Michigan. 5th round pick by the Indians back in 08. He's a handful.
Well, I'll tell you, that split, that's one of the better splitters we've seen this season. There's been some good ones around baseball, but the late movement that Putnam gets, that ball looks like it's in the hitting zone, and you let your swing go, and the ball just bottoms out, ends up near the dirt.
This guy's been a journeyman. He's been around, pitched for a bunch of teams. 0-2. Fifth round pick by Cleveland in 08. Traded to Colorado for Kevin Slowey in 2012. Was waived, picked up by the Cubs. Was a free agent, left there, and is now with the White Sox. This is in the air to right center. Diaza coming in. Sierra as well, and it drops in between them. And Prado has a single. And now the Owens base running mistake is haunting the Diamondbacks. It's cost them a run. A lot of communication out there.
Bad reads. I mean, Diaz in center field is really scuffling tonight. I mean, he's broken back on nearly every batted ball. Sierra must have been playing extremely deep in right field. He didn't even come close to that little floater. That ball was in the air for a long time.
It was very similar to the play on which Yu Darvish had that perfect game last night for the Rangers against the Red Sox. That was ruled an error, even though no Texas defender touched the baseball. which led to a whole controversy about scorekeeping and team errors, which is a stat that you're in favor of.
Absolutely.
The team error.
And by the way, after seeing that, I think it should have been an error on Rios in right field. That's the right fielder's ball. And he pulled up short and actually was standing still as the second baseman tried to go out there and make the play, drop between them. My understanding, talking to official scorekeepers, is with a normal effort, with a routine normal effort, if you should make the play, then you have to hang the guy with an error if he doesn't. And for me, that was a routine play for Rios.
2 on, 1 out for Goldie.
Now, fortunately, I mean, it is a topic of conversation, but not nearly as large as it would have been had Big Papi not gotten that base hit with 2 outs in the ninth.
Right through the shift. 2 balls and no strikes. This is inside. It's 3-0. Goldie is 0 for 2. He was intentionally walked his last time up.
Take a rip at it.
All 4. The bases are loaded.
Putnam was afraid he was going to take a rip at that 3-0 pitch.
That's his second walk in the inning. Don Cooper. White Sox bullpen is busy again. Daniel Webb, the right-hander, is warming up. And he's warming up quickly.
Some news and notes from around baseball. CC Sabathia returned to Milwaukee with the Yankees today. Had to start in that ball game. Gave up 3 home runs in the first 4 innings.
Yeah, he's really had some issues lately. Well, neither starting pitcher had an unintentional walk in the game, but Putnam has walked 2 in this inning. And so it's A.J. Pollock at third, Martin Prado at second, and Paul Goldschmidt at first. 1 out, and the batter is Miguel Montero, who is a career .317 hitter with the bases full. Miggy tonight 0 for 3. He has struck out twice. And you're 1 swing away from a big crooked number here in the 7th. Walk to Pollock, a single by Prado, a walk to Goldie have loaded the bases with 1 out. That is hit hard to right. Sierra knocks it down. Pollock will score. Prado will stop at third, and it's 4-2. A run comes in. That was smashed to right. He might have lost it in the lights.
Well, the way he reacted, I think you're absolutely right. It looks like that humpback liner stayed right in the lights on the third base side of the field. Well, when you see a player look away at the last instant and just stick the glove out there, they're hoping for a good result. Hit him in the glove, but didn't stay in. Big break for the D-backs.
It's those line drives on which those are such a problem. That's ruled an RBI base hit for Montero. Pollock scores, it's 4-2. Bases still loaded with 1 out for Aaron Hill. Those line drives to the outfield, when they come in sort of at that eye level, the outfielder is looking into the banks of lights which are behind the ballpark. Right there, you're looking into that. Good luck trying to find the baseball in there. 0-1 to Aaron Hill. Kicks away from Flowers. Prado thought about it, but he'll head back to the bag.
Well, good job by Paul Goldschmidt at second and Miguel Montero at first to read Martin Prado. Prado was busting it down the line at third and then slammed on the brakes. Fortunately, both of the trail runners were watching closely. See, Goldie was almost halfway to third. Miggy was about a third of the way to second base, but both had an eye on Martin Prado to see what he was going to do, able to slam on the brakes, and everybody got back.
1 ball and 1 strike to Aaron Hill. Bases loaded, 1 out. That is a foul ball. Prado almost got smoked on that one.
Go down on his belly to avoid that one.
So Aaron Hill behind 1-2. On the ground is short. Ramirez, Beckham, Konerko, they roll a double play. But the Diamondbacks get one on Miguel Montero's line drive single into the lights that Sierra couldn't find, and it's stretch time in Chicago. It's 4-2 D-backs. Tomorrow, new episode, A Cup of Coffee, the debut of the Addison Reed Show. We'll talk about moving to the Valley, becoming a newlywed, and closing games for the Diamondbacks. The former White Sox is our Cup of Coffee guest. It debuts tomorrow after the game, and then again at 10 o'clock only on Fox Sports Arizona. There's a preview clip posted online right now at foxsportsarizona.com. Hopefully this is a safe situation tonight for Addison Reed, former White Sox closer, out there now with a Diamondback bullpen. As we head to the bottom of the 7th, it's a 4-2 ball game. And Wade Miley's last win, April 6th at Coors Field, when he was so impressive against the Rockies. 8 innings, gave up just 2 runs. In 5 starts since that last win, he has given up more hits than innings pitched. But he's been terrific tonight. 4 hits in 6 innings of work. And he opens up the 7th by facing Dayan Viciedo, Alexei Ramirez, and Paul Konerko. The only mistake Miley has really made, the pitch that he got up to Konerko for the 2-run homer. Viciedo 1 for 2. He singled and came in on the Konerko home run. That's out of play. Miley at 85 pitches right now. He has been over 100 pitches 3 times this season. Evan Marshall, who looks so good in his major league debut in Milwaukee, is warming up. This is there, 2-2. Miley's high for the year, by the way, is 108. That was April 18th at Dodger Stadium. He threw 107 pitches his last time out Sunday in San Diego. So he's got some gas left in the tank based on the track record, but it's full here to Viciedo, 3-2.
Miley's still throwing hard. That last fastball, even though it was out of the zone at 92 miles per hour. This kind of night pitchers like. Just a little bit cool.
Chris Owings, top shelf with some COD. And hey, Fox Sports Live, that might be the one.
Well, good timing by Chris that time. Had just enough time to take a couple of steps, go into his jump, times it perfectly, keeps that ball out of left field. That's our Chaz Roberts cool play of the game.
I don't know if that makes Fox Sports 1's one play, but it certainly is our Chaz Roberts air conditioning cool play of the game. Chris Owings takes a base hit away from Viciedo. And it brings up Alexei Ramirez, who's 0 for 2.
It's a cool play to keep the leadoff runner off base in a 2-run ball game with all the home run power the White Sox have in this lineup.
Absolutely. Plus this guy who began the day as the American League's leading hitter. But so far Miley has got him twice, a fly ball and a pop-up. Fox Sports 1, 11 o'clock, America's new 24-hour sports network. 1-2, Biggs, swing and a miss. Ramirez already with 5 homers this year. We saw the grand slam last night. He homered 6 times all of last season. That was in more than 600 at bats. He's already got 5 this year.
And Ramirez, his track record would indicate he usually heats up with the weather. He's notorious slow starter, especially with the power.
These guys like to score runs late. Called strike 3. Ring him up and sit him down. 6 strikeouts for Miley. And that's the second out in the 7th.
Miley catches Ramirez guessing there on a 2-strike pitch. Right down Main Street, knee high, middle of the plate.
Here's Paulie. 1 for 2, a homer his last time up. The home run is first of the season and career home run number 435. And the Paulie chant can be heard loud and clear on the south side. A ball and a strike. He has looked much more like his old self lately, including the home run. He's now got 9 hits in his last 20 at bats. Say cheese. Man. We got one of those Phil Cuzzy strikes right there. Konerko steps out. He'll reset. A ball and 2 strikes. 2 outs. This was Paul Konerko in the 5th with 1 on in what was a 3-0 game at the time.
Konerko has really gone to great lengths this at bat to slow down Wade Miley. 2 quick outs here to start the bottom half of the 7th inning, and Paul Konerko has done everything in his power to make Wade Miley wait out there on the mound.
Skies it to left. Prado wants it. And Wade Miley works a 1-2-3-7, sends us to the 8th with the D-backs leading the White Sox 4-2. Some Chris Owings defense keeps that inning scoreless. White Sox 4-2. And as promised earlier in the ball game, it's time for our AT&T fan photo of the game as selected by the Brenly Committee. And the winner is Anna. A little face painting. You like the face painting?
No, that's a real tattoo.
That's why she's the winner.
Oh, yeah. You get your face inked, you're going to get your picture on there.
That's why she's at Foxiness on the Twitter. By the way, you can tweet your fan photo using the hashtag AZFanPhoto for your chance to have your picture shown in an upcoming game broadcast. It's brought to you by AT&T. By the way, I sent out on the Twitter, Tigers were honoring Jim Leyland today. And they were talking about social media, and Jim Leyland called it the Twitter.
The Twitter.
I'm just saying it's catching on. Right-hander Daniel Webb is on for the White Sox. 14th appearance of the year, a 2.50 ERA.
15 punch-outs against 11 walks in 18 innings of work.
Cody Ross, sweet home Chicago. Cody is 3 for 3 with 3 singles. All hard hit balls to left and left center, which is a great sign for Cody. And he's got 12 hits this year. Half of them have come in the city of Chicago. With stops at Wrigley Field and now U.S. Cellular Field, or the Cell as it's known around here. This is in the air to center. De Aza. First time they've retired Ross tonight. One away in the game. A lot of D-backs fans here. They've made the trip. This is the one where you get on the calendar. Ooh, let's go to Chicago that weekend in May and check out the D-backs and do some shopping on the Magnificent Mile. You were out there, you and Joan, with the granddaughter, Gemma.
Yeah, did some hiking today around the city of Chicago. Unless, of course, it's snowing this time of year, which it has done in the past.
I think it was snowing Wednesday when we got here. Then the next day it was 80. Gerardo Parra. Up the middle. That one will get through into center, and Parra's got a base hit. Just a little dribbler over the mound that sneaks through. And so Parra has now got an 8-game hit streak.
Yeah, the way those middle infielders were split that time, if that ball gets by the pitcher, it's through into center field for a base hit. Ramirez kind of shading toward the hole between third and short. Beckham was doing the same thing on the right side between first and second, leaving a big gap up the middle of the field.
And now with a right-hander on the mound, Derek Chavez will pinch hit for Alfredo Marte, who was the DH against the lefty Quintana. And the shift is on for Xavi. And he hits right into it. This one might drop in fair territory, and it is a foul ball. It just missed. A long run for Moises Sierra.
Well, we were talking about A.J. Pollock and how he glides in the outfield. Looks like he's not running hard, but covers a lot of ground. The exact opposite is true for Moises Sierra. He runs hard, but it looks like he's not getting anywhere.
And Eric has got a few ABs on this road trip. It's been a good trip for him. He's pinch hit. He's DH'd. He's played some third. He's down 0-2. Reached 8 times in 13 plate appearances. One and two. Tell you what, the shift is on here for Chavez, but Bob, we've talked as long as Eric has been with the Diamondbacks about how well he hits the ball to left center field. So this would be a great time to do that.
Chavez is just a typical left-handed. He pulls the ball on the ground. He hits it all over the place in the air, especially to left center with power. Outfielders for the White Sox playing pretty much straight up all the way around. Maybe a step or two to pull in center field for De Aza, but big pull shift on the infield.
Hits it right into the shift. Beckham Goes to Simeon, the third baseman, who plays the shortstop spot, and they get the double play with the shift on. So it works out for the White Sox there and sends us to the home half. Diamondbacks lead it 4-2. Fox Sports 1 returns as the Padres take on Joey Votto and the Reds. The action starts Thursday, 9:30 a.m. Pacific time on Fox Sports 1 and streaming live on Fox Sports Go. Bottom of the 8th in Chicago. It's a beautiful night, looking just gorgeous right now for the Diamondbacks, who lead it 4-2. And the man who has kept the opposition scoreless in 16 straight appearances now and 19 of his last 20. It's Brad Ziegler.
Brad will immediately face a pinch hitter here for the White Sox. Moises Sierra being taken down for the left-handed hitting Adam Dunn.
And Ender Inciarte replaces Cody Ross in left field, a defensive substitution there for Kirk Gibson. So here's Dunn to lead it off against Ziegler in the 8th. So Adam Dunn in last night's ball game playing first base. He went 0 for 4 and struck out twice. In fact, that entire time through the White Sox order in that 4th inning, Dunn was the only guy who didn't get a hit. Ouch, babe.
Somebody's got to make the outs.
One and two. Brad Ziegler now with an active scoreless inning streak of 15 1/3. That ranks 3rd best among National League pitchers, behind only K-Rod and the Mets' Dylan G. Three and two. Tyler Flowers, the catcher, is on deck. Big Adam Dunn, 6'6", 285. That's a large human. And how about he and Konerko? Dunn has got 445 career homers. And he strikes out looking right there. And Konerko's got 435. First out is a strikeout for Ziegler. Here's Flowers, the catcher. Seven innings of 4-hit ball tonight by Wade Miley. The only runs allowed on the Konerko homer. The bat is in the seats. Everybody is thumbs up down there, thankfully. Diaza, who was in the on-deck circle, had to duck and went in about 5 rows behind him. But everybody appears to be okay. That area right there where the bat just went into the seats is one of the things the Diamondbacks did to improve the safety of our fans. They extended that screen all the way to the dugout. So if it's Chase Field, that's in the net and not in the seats. 2-1. Shoots it the other way. That's a fair ball down the right field line. Flowers takes the turn and heads for second as Parra signals the ball is in the seats. It's a ground rule double.
Got stuck in some of the Mother's Day bunting down the right field line there. Parra did exactly the right thing. Don't go in there and try to dig it out. Play that just like you play the ivy over at Wrigley Field. Actually gets stuck underneath the padding out there in right field. Eventually will be touched by a fan.
Don't do that. It's a live ball. The security people jumping out of the way with their stools, and this guy's going fishing. A one-out double. Alejandro Diaza, 0 for 2. So tying run at the plate for the White Sox with a one out. On the ground is short. Backhand stop by Owens, who goes to third for the force on Flowers, or the tag play, pardon me. And Flowers is out at third. We've seen Chris Owings make that throw before, and it didn't work out a couple of times, in fact.
Yeah, this time they had just a little bit more time with the slow-footed Tyler Flowers trying to advance second to third. Boy, what a boneheaded base-running play that is, down by 2 runs late in the ball game, running into an easy out at third base. That was going to be a challenge for Chris Owings to plant his foot after backhanding that ball and try to fire across the diamond to get Diaza. Thank you, Mr. Flowers.
And Diaza's aboard at first with 2 outs. Here's Beckham, who's 1 for 3. High bouncer to short. CO goes the short way for the force on Diaza, and that's the inning. And we'll go to the 9th. Friends, our Fox Sports family has suffered a loss. Tom Yohe, the director for Fox Sports and Fox Sports Networks, passed away this week in Santa Monica, California. Tom was a starting quarterback at Harvard, played arena football in NFL Europe, and he has been part of the Fox family since the beginning. He worked with, among others, John Madden and our own Tom Brenneman. Tom was an Emmy Award-winning director. He will be greatly missed. We extend our deepest sympathies to his family. Tom Yohe was just 46. Chicago in the ninth. Adam Dunn, who pinch hit for Moises Sierra, will stay in the game and play left field, and Diane Viciedo takes over for Sierra in right. So it's Dunn in left and Viciedo in right. This is only Adam Dunn's 10th game in left field since he came to the White Sox. Chris Owings, a pair of doubles tonight. He scored a run. He'll lead off the ninth. Daniel Webb back out there for the White Sox. Owings, Pollock, Prado, 9-1-2. Former White Sox closer is getting ready to close for the D-backs against his former team. A nice way to get us into the Addison Reed Cup of Coffee show tomorrow with the Addy save here in Chicago. Two balls and one strike. Up and in, 3-1. Get out to center. Diaza. One out in the ninth. Well, it's been a big game and a big road trip for Cody Ross. He is tonight our APS Energy All-Star. The whole road trip, 8 for 21. The bat is coming around.
Yeah, he was getting his hits earlier in the road trip, but as you've mentioned, he's starting to square it up, barrel that ball up, pull it hard into left field. That's a tremendous sign for the D-backs offense. You need everybody contributing.
A.J. Pollock, 1 for 3. He has singled, walked, driven in a run, scored a run, and stolen a base. A very productive night for A.J. in the leadoff spot. And he has done what you're supposed to do. Well, twice anyway as the leadoff man, but you got to do better than one pitch in an at-bat batting leadoff. That first at-bat of the ball game, that 9-pitch AB against Quintana, that was tremendous. It's been a slow road trip in contrast to Cody Ross. For A.J. Pollock, he didn't get to play a ton on the trip because of the groin injury. Had just 12 at-bats on the road trip coming into tonight's. Checks his swing there, holds off. It's 2 balls and a strike. So A.J.'s now hit in 4 straight. He's stolen bases in consecutive games, which is very good to see coming off the groin injury. 3-1 now. White Sox in the ninth will have Simeon, Abreu, Viciedo, 2, 3, and 4. Strike 2, it's full. To right, it backs up. Viciedo at the track in front of the wall, and he can't get it. It's off the wall, and Pollock is heading for third. He will make it standing up. Viciedo just moved over from left field to right field and did not at all appear to get a good read on that. And it carried off the bat of A.J. Pollock for his second triple this year.
Took his eye off the ball right at the end there to protect himself against the wall. AJ kind of broke his stride right there coming around second base, but as that ball ricocheted off the wall, it was heading back towards the infield. He made it easily to third base.
Tell you what, these guys are definitely an American League team.
No doubt about it.
Played some ugly outfield defense. Martin Prado, a pair of singles and RBI. A nice insurance run, 90 feet away with one out. Infield in on the edge of the grass. And it's a ball to Prado. A lot of beef on the corners. Only the 10th game in left field for Adam Dunn since he joined the White Sox. Hit one out there. Let's see what happens. 98, and it's 1-2. Addison Reed. There he is. He will get the 9th. Check swing. He's still alive. Cup of coffee after the game tomorrow with Addison Reed, the debut episode. That'll be after the game, then again at 10 o'clock.
Looking forward to that. I really enjoyed that last year, partner. You know, ball players so many times, all you hear is the post-game comments or an interview in the locker room, and most of the guys play it very close to the vest, give you a lot of cliches, but a lot of them really opened up last year. Get to see a side of the players that normally you don't get to see.
We get lucky because this is such a good group. It really is. I mean, through all the losing this year, this is a team that still gets along really well with each other. And their personalities come out when you sit down and talk to them. We'll talk to them for about an hour. Actually, we talked to Addison for an hour. He was about 25 minutes. 2-2. Right back to the mound. Webb looks Pollock back to the bag and throws Prado out. That's the second out. And it brings up Goldie. That's on after the game tomorrow, then again at 10 o'clock on Fox Sports Arizona. Paul Goldschmidt 0 for 2. He has walked twice, once intentionally. A.J. Pollock at third with 2 outs. Takes a rip at a 98-mile-an-hour fastball, 0-1. Webb is humping it up out here tonight. Nice to have a 3-run cushion going into the 9th. That's out of play. Goldie 7 games on the road trip, all starts hitting just under .390. That includes 3 homers, but he's 0 for 2 tonight. Hard to short, right to Ramirez. And Webb strands the 1-out triple. Will go to the bottom of the 9th, and the former White Sox closer is coming in. Diamondbacks baseball on Fox Sports Arizona is brought to you in part by Lone Butte Casino. You're in for more winning moments at Lone Butte Casino. And by Cox Communications. Bundle and save with Cox.
Bottom 9 at U.S. Cellular Field. The Diamondbacks lead the White Sox 4-2, and Chicago's former closer is on for Arizona. It's the big right-hander Addison Reed. He has a save in 10 of the D-backs' 13 wins this year, despite a 4.08 ERA and allowing runs in half his outings. And he's out there with a 2-run lead, trying to shut the door on his former ball club.
Bring it home. He too comes into the ball game and will immediately face a pinch hitter. It looks like Hunter Gillespie going to take the at bat here.
Simeon was the scheduled hitter. Instead, it will be the lefty Gillespie who started at third last night. He was 1 for 4 last night with a single and a walk. Strike one. '69 saves with the White Sox. Now trying to close out a ball game against them.
Saved 40 last season as a 24-year-old.
He worked a lot here. Little flare to center. It's a base hit. Gillespie aboard, and Abreu will walk up as the tying run at the plate with no outs. So here's Jose Abreu. 13 home runs lead the major leagues. 3 hits last night, including a 442-foot homer. He's 0 for 3 tonight. He has struck out twice. 37 RBIs behind only Giancarlo Stanton of the Marlins for the Major League lead. Be careful. Strike one.
And this is where you tell yourself, make him hit it to the opposite field. But as we showed you earlier in the ball game, this guy hits him out to all parts of the ballpark. He's not strictly a pull power hitter.
Down and away here.
Well, it was down, but it was pretty much centered in the middle of the plate. That's kind of been Addison Reed's issue in the early going this season. Even though he's ultimately saved a lot of ball games, he's made some mistakes, hittable mistakes, late in games. Got away with one right there.
Got it on the inner half. Called strike 3. Well, he's made some location mistakes before, but he located perfectly that time.
Boy, that is a great pitch right there. He's throwing all cut fastballs this sequence. And normally that cut fastball starts on the outer third of the plate, works its way toward the outside corner, but when you throw it inside, it freezes that right-handed hitter. That time Abreu just froze in his tracks and couldn't do anything.
0 for 4 tonight with 3 strikeouts for Abreu. Here's Viciedo. Singled and scored in the 5th. He's 1 for 3. Here's strike 1.
A little more adrenaline tonight for Addison Reed. That last pitch at 95.
Now he's consistently been 93-ish with the Diamondbacks. And you got to believe the adrenaline is going right now for this young man. Here's the 0-1. In the dirt behind Montero, Gillespie advances. A little too much adrenaline that time.
Yeah, first breaking ball he's tried to throw since coming into the ball game here in the 9th inning, and really pulled that one over in the left-handed batter's box. Well, you can deal with a little bit of adrenaline if you're just going to stand out there and throw fastballs, but there's a fine touch to throwing that slider on the outside corner, and that time he just didn't have the touch. Much better slider that time.
Starts out down the middle of the plate. Watch it tail away. And Viciedo is as slider prone a hitter as there is. Another one here on 1-2.
I would think so. Oh. Came right back inside with that same cutter he got Abreu looking at. That time Viciedo swings and misses.
Mixing up pitches and location. 2 strikeouts after the leadoff single, and now here's Alexei Ramirez. Inner half.
Yeah, Miggy slides onto that inside corner. He just threw that fastball by him.
Tying run at the plate, 2 outs in the 9th. It's Alexei Ramirez. 0 for 3. He struck out looking his last time up. Ramirez began the ball game leading the American League in hitting at .342. The grand slam of the triple last night. And how about these numbers right here? Gillespie the runner at second. Didn't get the call there, Phil Cuzzi. Where was that?
He went into half of a strike call.
That's been a strike for 8 2/3 innings.
Yeah, and it just didn't pull the trigger. I mean, that's the beginning of the Phil Cuzzi strike call, but then he just stands up and backs away from Miguel Montero, refuses to call it.
That's been a strike all night long. 1-1. Went to the same spot, missed. It's 2 balls and a strike. Was a little further off the plate. No rest for the weary. That's out of play. Reads a strike away. This would be the D-backs' 14th win. It would be Addison Reed's 11th save. In front of a lot of D-backs fans who are out here supporting their ball club. 2 balls and 2 strikes, 2 outs. Emergency.
Just got a piece of it. I think he hit that off the back of the bat. Talk about leading a hitter out of the strike zone. This is a perfect example. That slider starts over the plate at the knees, ends up off the plate low and away. Ramirez just able to get a piece.
Base hit. Here comes Gillespie. He will score. It's a 1-run game.
comes Paul Konerko. He's the winning run. He's already homered tonight. Mike Harkey, slow walk to the mound.
This is an attempted momentum robber right here. Take your time walking out to the mound. I'm sure Addison Reed is as aware of the scouting report on Paul Konerko as anybody in the ballpark, but Mike Harkey just wants to make sure everybody's on the same page and they know exactly how they're going to go after a White Sox right-handed hitter.
Gillespie singled, Abreu and Viciedo struck out. Ramirez singled. It's a one-run game. This was Konerko in the fifth against Wade Miley.
Maybe the only mistake Wade Miley made in the ball game tonight. Left the fastball up and out over the plate to a good fastball hitter, and Konerko rode it out of here.
2 outs. Ramirez the tying run at first. Konerko the winning run at the plate. Brent Walcott making sure that everyone knows that Ramirez has been granted time at first, marking his spot for the lead. And now we're set to go.
Ramirez has 5 steals in 6 attempts this year. We know Addison Reed can be a little slow to the plate at times.
Strike one. He has thrown strike one to every hitter in this inning. Ramirez takes off. The throw from Montero is not in time, and the tying run is in scoring position. It's a strike on Konerko, so the count is 0-2. Oh, check that, 1-1. 1 ball, 1 strike. Now they've changed it on the scoreboard here, so it is 0-2. Here's the replay of the stolen base.
Great jump over at first by Ramirez. Mickey knew he had no time to get to his feet and attempt to throw to second, so he tries to fire from his knees. Nice play by Aaron Hill to knock that one down, keep it out of center field.
0-2. Konerko up there 9 for his last 21. He's been hot. A ball and 2 strikes. On the ground to second. Aaron Hill sets and throws, and the Diamondbacks win the middle game of this 3-game set, and Addison Reed gets a save in Chicago, this time against the White Sox. And the D-backs have put themselves in position to take all 3 series on this road trip.
At times it's been a very discouraging road trip, but when you look at it that way, a win tomorrow and you go home taking 2 out of 3 in all 3 cities you visited, you'll take that any time of year.
It wasn't easy, but Addison Reed gets his 11th save. The Diamondbacks get their 14th win, and they set themselves up with rookie Chase Anderson on the mound here tomorrow, making his major league debut. They won the series in San Diego. They won the series in Milwaukee, and a chance to win the series right here. A pink out at U.S. Cellular Field. Cody Ross had a big night. 3 hits. Wade Miley pitched a terrific ball game, and the bullpen held on for a 4-3 win over the White Sox. Much more from the Cell coming up. Diamondbacks Live is next. D-backs win this one 4-3.